Well, let's pivot a little away from the imaginary unicorn life products, and let's go
Hmm.
into just the most boring product that has pretty much ever been created. The one that we use every single day to change
Yep.
people's lives, whole
Yep.
life insurance. So, what with whole life would you tell somebody is a reason why they should consider that product? Forget about the
You know,
infinite banking concept, but what
s-
about a whole life is some of the things that you think are
yeah.
the most critical things people need to know?
Well, let's not even talk about the technicals of the product and why logistically or technically it makes sense. I'm just a big believer. Like we started this conversation off talking about our concerns about the economy and the political situation that's going on in the world and all these things. I just before I go here, I would just say to everybody, and I know if you watch Chris's channel here, I know you've contemplated this already, but where do you think taxes are going? Where do you think inflation's going? Where do you think national debt is going? Like all these different things, right? So I'm just a believer. I don't believe there's one right thing or one wrong thing, or there's a right way or a wrong way. I just believe that we need to align our money with our values and beliefs. Like, and Chris and I do what we do because we have a set of values and beliefs, and we're aligning our money with our values and beliefs, and we're going to execute to try to create a life that we want to live. I mean, it's really that simple. Like we can break it down that simply. And so why do I utilize whole life insurance is because it's in alignment with my values and beliefs. And why do I think everybody should? Well, I don't know that everybody should. But what I do think everybody should do is think about like, what do you prioritize in life? What do you think is going to happen in the world? What do you value? What do you believe? And really break that down. And what I know is there's this great book called The Ant and the Elephant. This guy, Vincent Pacenti, wrote it. And he did this analogy, or he referenced a study. And in the study, he said and they did these scans of brains, of brain activity. And when we make a conscious decision, I don't care if it's talking about budgeting, saving money, losing weight, getting out of debt, all that stuff. When we make a conscious decision, 4 million neurons a second are firing off in our brains. Okay. Our subconscious mind is 4 billion neurons a second. So what happens is if you don't believe that you're going to be successful with something, the human brain is not going to allow you to put the effort into it for you to actually have a chance at succeeding. Right. And so we have to get to the place where we believe subconsciously, because the whole reason this book was called The Ant and the Elephant is because you thinking that you're going to just be able to white knuckle your way through life, consciously overriding your subconscious, is the equivalent of an ant sitting on the head of the elephant thinking it has a chance to steer the elephant. The elephant doesn't even know it's there, right? And so the crazy part, though, is when we break this down and we look at that and we go, okay, if that's the case, well, we have to figure out and we have to know what do we want to accomplish? Where do we want to go? What do we want our life to look like? What do we value and believe? And is our money in alignment with it? And we have to understand what we're even doing in the first place. And so I think what happens is if we get rid of all the what's the rate of return, what's the liquidity year one, what's this, what's that, and we start thinking long term, because you don't solve long term problems with short term thinking. So if we start thinking long term enough and we just think about, okay, who am I? I'm married. I've got 3 kids. I love real estate investing. I run my businesses. What are my values and beliefs? I believe I am the best investment I'm ever going to make. And I all these things that I go down through. And when you back it out, I believe that we need to save before we invest. I believe we need to save with the purpose of investing. I believe that you are not an investor unless you have a foundation of financial safety first. You're a speculator. So I believe all these things. And the challenge is, I think people are too reactive with their money, and they're just going and giving their money to other people and hoping that, somebody's going to solve your problem for you. Like there's no financial advisor, no financial salesperson that's going to go out that you're going to give your money to that's going to be able to solve your problems. Only you can do that. Only you can do that. Right. And the challenge is, I don't care. Like we know this in my new book I'm writing, I talk about the 5 F's of life: faith, family, finances, fitness, and freedom. Right. Everybody wants freedom. That's what money is. Money's got to be a tool to get us to
Ooh.
financial freedom, period. Right. I think we can all agree on that. Okay. If that's the case, think about it this way. With our faith, Chris, right? Like, can you outsource your success with your relationship with God, whatever that means to you? Can
Can
you,
you
can,
outsource your
yeah.
success?
Can somebody else improve your relationship with God as you understand
No.
it? No, you have to be in the Bible. You have to pray. You have to talk. That's a relationship that only you can manage. Can somebody outsource your success as a father, as a husband?
Definitely.
Can you? No, right? That's going to be a problem if you do, right? Can you outsource your success with your fitness, right? With your health,
Get up and
right?
run
No,
every
you got to do
morning.
the push-ups. You got to eat well. You got to be intentional about all that, right? I believe you can't have pure freedom without a good relationship with your higher power, without a good relationship with your family, without your health, and without a good relationship with money. Somehow, I think everybody would agree with the first three that we have to take radical self-accountability if we want to be able to attain freedom in those areas. Somehow with our money, we've been tricked, and you've been told by people like Dave Ramsey that you're too stupid to get it, that it's too complicated, right? And so I know this is like the longest of long answers of all time, but the reason I think everybody should get whole life insurance has nothing to do with the technicals, but it's because of the process of you going down that process of saving money, building your foundation, making sure that it's a self-completing plan, that your family will be taken care of, but the whole process in that journey is going to force you to become who you need to be with your money to live the life that you want to live. And it's about the journey more than anything.